And who is the most beautiful guy? It is you, yes. It is you, yes. Oh, so beautiful, yes. Okay, okay, okay. Hey, hey, ROS developers, how are you doing today? I'm glad to be here with you again in a new live class. This is the last live class that we are going to have before the Christmas part. So we are going to stop doing live classes until next January. You can check the schedule for next January about the new live classes that we are going to have in the typical webpage about the ROS Developers Live classes. And so I'm happy to close here in this class the subject that we have been doing about domain randomization. Actually, today we are going to concentrate on how to create the data sets that are required to do domain randomization experiments, but you can apply this to any other experiment, any other subject that you would like to use data sets that are generated using simulations. So we are going to concentrate on that. And before we go to that, let me first apologize for last week because we have some trouble about doing the live class, and I couldn't tell you in any way, because we don't have any chat, any special way, any channel where we can communicate with all of you. So what we are going to do from now on is, in order to communicate with you, if you go to the YouTube channel, you will see that our YouTube channel has a community tab, and we are going to post the messages there. So in case that there is something that we would like to communicate with all of you that are attending to the live classes, we are going to communicate it through there. So if you are subscribed to our channel and you have pressed the bell, then you will receive those communications automatically in your email. Otherwise, if you are not subscribed, or you are not, even if you are subscribed but not press the bell, then you can access to the community chat that is there and read the messages. Just that you have to take the active part on that. Okay, so let's go and let's start with the class today. And as always, we are going to use the ROS Development Studio in order to manage the data sets, to create them, to generate them, save them, share them. So we are going to see how to do all that. And for that, you need to have a free account of the ROS Development Studio. So I hope that you have already created. Otherwise, this is your homework. Just go, not homework, just go straight right now, because otherwise you are not going to have time to follow us. And then I'm going to share with you a ROSject containing all the material that we are going to do today. So it contains the notebook, a simulation, and some code that we are going to need in order to generate data sets as an example. So we are going to continue from the previous example of the previous live class about domain randomization. Okay, so let me know you have any trouble along following my instructions. Remember that you have to do the same thing as I am doing on the screen, but in your own account in the ROS Development Studio. Right now, I mean, okay? So not later or whatever. Just do it, try to do it right now. And if you have any trouble, put it on the chat. That is your question, as a question on the chat that we have besides the video on the YouTube channel. Okay, okay, so far so good. So yeah, so here I see on the chat that there is some people. Here we have June from China. Hello, June, how you doing? And hey from, hey is the salutation, but it's RJ from Germany. So nice to meet you. And then I see some other people watching there that are more scared, or what's the word in English? Is more tímido in Spanish, so don't worry. So you are also welcome to the live class. And at any point in time that you feel like you would like to contribute, asking questions or something, feel free, okay? So great, let's go and let's start sharing the ROSject for all of you. So what I'm going to do first is to share my screen so you can see my screen. Let me share this with you. And you will see, so I have it here. Let me share it. Yeah, too many things on a small screen. So that's it. Here it is. So now you should be watching my screen here on the ROSDS. So I have already logged in. And the project that we are going to use today is this one, is the ROS Developers Live-Class number 41. And for this, what I'm going to do is to press this button, Share ROSject. Remember that you can do this also in your, for your own ROSject. So you can create your own ROSject containing ROS material, simulations, code, and then share in this way with anybody. So what I'm going to do is to copy this link that I have copied, I have created here, into the chat. But before, in order to allow the chat to use this, this link, I'm going to shorten using bit.ly. Why I'm doing this is because of the chat of YouTube that doesn't allow me. Okay, so why? Okay, let me copy here. Copy it, and I'm going to go now to the chat in this in YouTube video, and I'm going to paste it in the chat so you can get it right now. So now it is there, the link. What do you have to do with this link? Okay, just press on the link. By pressing on that link that you have there, you are going to receive a full copy of the ROSject that we are going to use today. So you're going to receive a copy of this. So it's going to take a while to copy because it contains a simulation, and it contains a Python 3 environment that contains many packages in there that we needed to compile in order to use it with Python 3. And then it's a little bit large. But don't worry, so just press on the link, and then at some point in time, you will get this ROSject with the same picture, the same text, and the same content, the same exact content that I have. And that's a beautiful thing about the ROSject in the ROS Development Studio, is that you can run the same exact code that I am going to run right now here on the screen. Okay, so let me know if you have any problem following the link. Let me check the chat. There is no question, so people looks like it's going. And what I'm going to do is to start the ROSject. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to start right now, and you can do the same thing. If you have already the copy, just press that button. Run on ROSDS. So run on ROSDS. Then if you press that, so it's going to start that. I'm going to close those tabs here because we don't need it anymore. And it's preparing the project files. Yeah, as I mentioned, the files are a little bit large, so that is why it takes some time. So I will use this time to drink a little bit of coffee. Yes, that is right. Very good. And also we'll take the chance to check if there is any other question on the chat. There is none. Great. So let me see. Okay, so yeah, it's taking a while. I should have already. I don't remember having this ROSject so big, so large. So okay. So let's see. What can I tell you? In the meantime, it is so cold here in Barcelona. Yes, you know, and it's going to be a cold Christmas here, probably. Yes. And how is it weather there? What about in Germany or China, Beijing? By the way, do you know that next ROSCon is going to be in China? The next ROSCon? Yeah, still not? Okay, so yeah, I didn't remember that was so large, but finally it opened. And here it is. So if you check the files that are included here, you will see that there are a lot of files. And here, for example, if you go to Tools and go open the IDE, you can see here all the files that we contain. That it contains, for example, the simulation on the source. It contains the fetch simulation, and then some stuff for the dynamic objects.
Those are the plugins that allow us to do domain randomization in Gazebo. And also it contains the fetch simulation. So that's not the biggest part. The biggest part also is here in the AI workspace, because we had to create a virtual environment with several packages here. And yeah, so we had to compile different packages of ROS in order to make it work here for Python 3. Even if they already existed in Python, for Python 2 in the system, but because the domain randomization training library, it requires Python 3, we had to do this trick about creating a Python 3 environment on the system. Well, that's another thing. That's nothing that we are going to look at today, but we're just making some time, expecting that everybody has been able to launch the simulation. Sorry, not the simulation, but the ROSject here. Now, probably that's the first time that you have opened it. Then you should have seen here the Jupyter notebook already open. In my case, because I was testing before the class, and I closed it everything, so I didn't show it. But I'm going to open it manually. So in case that you would like to open the Jupyter notebook of this live class, just go to Tools and then press Jupyter Notebook. Then here you have to press ROS Live Class 41, press there. And then here we have the notebook for today. Let me move this here. Maybe we'll use it later. Yeah, okay, great. So what is this live class? It's about how to manage data sets. So what happens is that usually when we do training for robots, especially for visual recognition of things, we need to create a lot of data sets that we are going to use those data sets afterwards to train our neural networks. And so we have provided inside the ROS Development Studio a way of managing those data sets. So what is the purpose? The purpose is that we can generate those data sets inside here, inside the ROS Development Studio, inside the simulation, and then afterwards we can attach them to different ROSjects. We can use it in different projects of ROS here inside the ROS Development Studio. We can share those data sets with other people. And I don't know why it said this. Yeah. And then we can share those data sets with other people. So one data set that has been created by us can be easily, very easily provided to somebody else, maybe to 100 students in your class, or to you 30 research people at the same lab, just by doing one click. Of course, also, any data set that you create here, you can download to your own computer and have it locally. Okay, but it makes this more difficult to share and everything. So that's what we are going to see today, how to manage that. And there is one last part. It's about how to parallelize the data set creation. So what happens is that if you want to create a data set for object recognition, for example, then it's going to take many, many hours of the simulation running, taking the pictures, recording this into the hard disk. So here into the dataset workspace, for example. So it's going to take a long time. So we provide a tool that is called the Gene Computers, that you can have it here. You can see it here. This is for paying members, okay? So we are not going to see this today because still we need to tune it for production. And so finally, we couldn't make it for the class of today. I'm sorry. It's going to be in January, ready and working. So by using the Gene Computers, you can create a data set in a parallel way. So instead of 40 hours for creating the data set, you can use just a few minutes. It depends on how many computers you want to launch in parallel, and you can launch as many as you want. Okay, so that's the only part that we are not going to see here today because we couldn't make it finally to have it in production robust enough. Okay, but still we have a lot of interesting things to do. So let's go and let's start about how to create a data set. How to create a data set. So the first that we need is the simulation, because the data set has to be generated from a simulation. Yes, it's going to be a set of pictures that afterwards we are going to use with the domain randomization training of our neural network. So how do we create a data set? First, launch the simulation. We have included here the simulation that we are going to use for the generation of the data set. And then in order to launch it, we have to go to simulations, then look for the fetch domain randomization and select the main two objects fetch range random environment dot launch. How do we do that? Here, simulations, select launch file. And then on this box that appears here, I'm going to select the file that is indicated there on the notebook. I know that now you cannot see my drop-down menu. I don't know why YouTube is not transferring this into your image, into the video. So, but don't worry, just press on the drop-down menu and look for that file. It's inside the package fetch domain randomization. So look for that package, fetch domain randomization, and then main two objects, fetch range, etc. So now you can see that I have selected that file here, and then press launch. Then by doing this, the simulation is going to appear here on the screen. And we should see in a few seconds this simulation. Okay, so now we're going to use this simulation for creating the data set. And here I'm not going to explain the code that captures from the image, then it launches again the objects in a different position, in a random position, then captures another image. That was already explained on the previous class, how it works. What I want to explain you here is how to manage the data sets on this class, okay, specifically. So I presume that you already know how to create a data set. And then don't worry, because we provide the procedures for doing it here in these notebooks. In this notebook, but the only thing that I wanted to state is that I'm not going to explain you how the capture of the images actually is. So what we are going to see is how to manage the data sets. Okay, so here we have the simulation running. I hope that you already have your simulation running also. And let me check the chat if there is any question. And I can see that there is none. Okay, so we proceed on doing the data set. Please let me know if you are stuck, if you have any problem, if it doesn't work for you. Great, so let's go. So how to create a data set. So before we start collecting the images, before we start running the program that is going to collect the images from the camera and send the movements of the objects in different random positions, before we do that, we had to create the data set. We had to indicate to the system, hey, I want to create a data set. So for that, you have here an option here on the top menu that is called datasets. Press there, and then press the button, the green button, create. Then on that thing, so you have several things to say. So first one is the name of your data set. So this is a name. So this is the name that you would like to put it, whatever it is. So let's say LIVE-Class number 41 and data set, for example. This is going to be my name. And then the folder to attach. So here you have to specify a specific folder name that will contain your images. So let's say, for example, images. Okay, so it's going to be images for underscore number 41, for example. Yeah, so for example, that by using this, we will know that our images for the LIVE-Class number 41. Then description, whatever it is. So this is a test data set for LIVE-Class number 41. And then, is it public? Then this means, hey, you want that this data set be accessible by anybody in the world without having you to know about that they are accessing or not. Then at present, you can select yes or no, but at present only private data sets are available. So the mechanism for public is still not. But I'm going to show you later how to share your data sets. It's very simple and very fast. So whatever you indicate here, it's going to be a no in any case at present. Okay. So when you are able, then you press create. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I got. So you only have to put alphanumeric names. So what is my error? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think that is because of the capital. Yeah, we have this error here. So you cannot put capital letters on the names. So let's create it now. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Okay, so now the data set is being created, it's being formatted, but it's an empty data set. So it says, hey, 5 bytes. And where is it stored? It is stored in home user datasets workspace image 49. So if you go to the IDE here and you open the dataset directory, you will see that has been created here a directory that is called images N41. That's the name of the directory that I provided to the dataset creator, remember. And then also, but it's empty. The only thing that it contains is a README that you can fill it with whatever you want. It's empty. So you can put here in the README, okay, let me change this and make it bigger. So like this, and then put it also bigger letter form size here. So yeah, so for example, I'm testing the creation of data sets. Yes, and save it. Okay, so now here in this directory is where our images are going to be stored as a data set. So let's go for that. So those images on the notebook is what I have already explained to you. And let me see if I'm missing some information. Okay, now, so what we are going to do now is to generate the actual data of the data set. So we are going to start with this, with executing some commands that will start collecting images from the camera and moving the objects on the table in a random way. And they are going to be stored there in this directory that we have created. Okay, so for that, let me check that. I think that there are some comments on the channel. Let me see on the chat. Here it says, so Acapulco, it says, I hope it's not too late to join the class. Of course not. Acarapon, of course, you can just press on the link that you have on this channel, and then you will get the project, and you can continue with the class. Matthew already answered. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Matt. And then, hi there, Zet. Okay, hi. Okay, so everything is going on time and everything. Okay, very good. Thank you, Matt, for the support. So let's continue. So how are we going to generate those data for the data set? Well, we are going to launch this launch file that is already created by us, by the construct team, and it's provided for you here in this, let me open the IDE here. In the AI workspace, we have included a package here that is called domain randomization, random manager, and here on this, inside the random Gazebo manager package, here on the launch file, here, launch, we have several launch files. So we are providing all this already for you, so you don't have to care about it. If you want to know a little bit more about this, what does it mean, then you can watch the previous live class. Or if you really want to know the details, then you have to do a course that we have created in our online academy that is called the Robotic Night Academy. that contains more and more details about how we have done this, so you can reproduce for your own cases. And if you don't want, you can just go and look by yourselves, okay? So don't worry. So anyway, here is the launch file that we are going to use today for creating the data set. So open it, and here you will see that it contains a couple of things that we have to take into account. First one is this one about the number of elements. This means how many elements you want to create on the data set. And it's this field here. So I have set to 20, like in the previous live class, just to show you how it works, because otherwise the data set, they start to be very big, very fast. So now we just want to go save. Then afterwards you can test by yourself and then try to do it bigger or whatever. So it's up to you. Then we leave it like 20. Then the other thing that we have to change is this point here, path to dataset generation. So as you can see, it says images 01. Okay, so I forgot to indicate images 01 when I was explaining here. And then we have to change that value for the name of the folder that I have created in the data set. So let me check which one was, because I don't remember. Images N41. Okay, so that's the name that we had to put here in this parameter. Home, users, dataset, images, and then underscore N41. N41. Okay, so you have modified this name. If you also have provided a different name, then you have to put it here, the name of the data set. That this one also corresponds to the one that, if I open here, data set, that has to be the same one that is included here. You see this one there. Okay, so very simple. So once you have modified that value, then you can Control S to save, or go to File and Save. Remember, because otherwise this is not going to be taken into account. Great, so this is what is explained here. You can go later with more detail and read everything here. And what it says is that it's going to erase the previous data stored there. So already it's empty, so no problem. Then let's go and let's open a web shell and execute this launch file. So we are going to execute this launch file that we have modified. Is the launch file that is going to start collecting the images. Okay, so we need to do all this. Why do we need to do all this? Well, this is a special case here because we are using a Python 3 environment. So, but let's start by doing it. So and I'm going to explain you this. So go to Tools and open a shell. And in this shell, you can copy here and paste the whole sequence of commands. Copy, paste, you can copy everything, Control C, and then go here to the shell and do a Control V. It's going to remove everything and compile it everything again. Actually, we didn't need it to compile, but yeah, just starting from fresh. Okay, so then you will not have any problem in the future. And basically what it's doing is compiling everything on the virtual environment, and then it's activating the virtual environment. And then afterwards, it just launches the program that is going to capture the images for the database. And we are going to see something like here in this image here, is that the simulation this is going to start throwing the objects, and these then they are going to be collected images, and the images are those ones here. Those are the ones, because the camera is here in the simulation. Let me show you. Where is this? Oops, too fast. So here, this is the camera. So this is the camera that is taking those pictures that you can see here. And as we are working with domain randomization, then you're going to see that the lights are changing in conditions, the colors of the objects, the locations. This is good. This is for the domain randomization part of this data set that we are doing. But I mean, this is for that specific case. So in your case, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so let me check in the meantime if there are any questions on the chat? Okay, no questions, let me know. So, because now it is compiling this and I'm going to drink a little bit more coffee. So still compiling there. And let's wait until it's ready and we can launch the generation of the data set. Remember that the data sets are going to be included. So let me put it here. So I'm going to do one thing, okay? So here we have the IDE, and it's too many windows here, and you cannot see all the things. So what I'm going to do is to detach the IDE from here and put it into a different tab in the browser. For that, you can press this icon here. And if you press this icon, then you will see that the whole IDE is shown in a different tab, and that's sometimes is more convenient. Also, you can detach this tab and put it into a different screen in case that you have many. And I'm going to increase here. Yeah, so let's use it, the IDE like that, so it's easier for us. And then I'm going to close the one that I have here. So now we can arrange this in a better way. And put it here. About to be compiled. Yes, and let's see. Let's see, it's about, and we'll be able to see how it starts. And let me see if there is any question on the chat. No questions. So I hope that you are following, okay? You are doing the same things that I am doing, and that this is working for you. So otherwise, you tell me on the chat. Okay, so almost about to finish. 100% is doing the source. Yeah, so now it remains to launch the actual program. So everything has been, all the commands have been completed. The compilation, the activation of the environment. You can see that we have this virtual environment activated here. And now we are going to launch the last command that remains. It was an enter, so it required an enter. So let's do the enter. And by doing the enter, then I should start getting the pictures. So it should start to modifying the conditions of the light, the positions of the objects, etc. So it has started with the first one. And now let's see. Okay, create a folder of images. And yeah, so now it's going. Now it has captured another one. Now it's going to capture another one. Now it's going to capture another one. Yeah, so you can see that it's launching, changing the light condition, changing the positions of the objects, and then capturing. Now, if we go to the IDE that is on the other tab in my case, and we go to the dataset directory. Let me close the AI workspace. So let's go to the dataset directory here. Okay, so you can see that we created this directory and we have the README file, but now those two are generated. So if I open one of those, we get the images. You can double click here and check the images that have been captured. And in this case, this data set contains two things. The first one are the images, and the second one is the annotations. The annotations XML, it's an XML containing the positions of the object that we'll use later for training our neural network. But I mean, this is a specific case for domain randomization, but your data set can contain here anything that you want. So this data set is just a way of putting together a bunch set of data that is going to be later for training or for analysis, etc. That is a big thing. It's a large set of files. Okay, so now it's been generated here, and it's going to generate up to 20 elements. So I think that it has already stopped because we have 0 until 19 here. So it has a stop. So our data set, yes, you can see here it has finished. So I hope that all of you have already done the process and it worked for you. So what we have done is to generate the data set, the data that we want. Now, what we are going to do, okay, so let's save it. Because if we go here to data sets, we can see that our data set stored data set on the system is still 5 bytes length. So we need to update this with the new data that we have created. So we need to tell to the system, hey, please, whatever I have created in my data set, please update it with this new data that I have there. So you press save, and then it's going to start saving. Then the time that it takes, it depends on how large it is. In this case, it's 1.28 megabytes. That's very short. That's why it's ready already. But if you have gigabytes of data set, that's very common, then it can take up to minutes to save. But the good thing is that this is handled in parallel. So you can continue doing other things at any point in time while your data set is being updated. Okay, great. So yeah, we have this. And one important thing here is that this data set, even if we have created the data set with this ROSject, the one associated to the ROS Developers LIVE-Class 41, this data set is independent of the ROSject. So it means that this data set, you can use it. Now that you have created, you can use it at any other ROSject that you create. So it doesn't matter. And also you can share with other people. So you can provide this data set to anybody else inside the ROS Development Studio. And of course, at any point in time, you can go here to Cloud9 and say, hey, please, you do a right click here and do a download, and then it will download your data into your local machine. So it's not taken as a hostage inside the ROS Development Studio, of course. Well, so what are we going to do now? So this data set has been created in this project, in this ROSject, but we have two options here. One, we can associate this data set to the ROSject, or we can manage this as an independent data set. So by associating this to the ROSject, it means that every time that you share this ROSject, the person who receives the ROSject will get the data set also on it. So they will be able to use that data set also. And that's what we are going to do right now. So how do we do that? Very simple. Because the data set is being attached, as you can see here, it is attached. It is indicated here, attached. Then it is ready. Then by saving this ROSject now, the data set will be attached to that ROSject. So let's go and save it. Well, before going to save it, let me show you. Let me go to the wall icon here and show you this ROSject, how it looks into our list of ROSjects. So as you can see here, well, actually it already says that I have the data set here. But the other ROSjects, many other ROSjects doesn't contain any data set here. Okay, and why is saying this? Well, because the data set is already attached here. So if you save the ROSject now and provide the same name or a different name, it's okay. Then it will say, yeah, I provide the same name. It's okay to overwrite. Now, from now on, this ROSject is, whenever I share this ROSject, it's going to contain that data set on it. So the people will be able to come here and get those data here. So it will be included. Then the good thing is that when you open a ROSject that contains a data set, then the ROSject is open in a different thread than the data set. So you can open the ROSject, get all the material, start working with the ROSject. In the meantime, the data set is still getting attached. Why? Because the data sets, as I mentioned, maybe there are 8 gigabytes length. So it's going to take up to a minute or even 2 minutes, depending on the size, to be attached. But it's going to be done in parallel, so you don't get stuck at that. Okay, so now the ROSject is a little bit larger because it contains the data set. So we wait here until it's saved. Okay, done, save. Okay, so, but as I mentioned here, you have this data set attached to the ROSject, but we can also do something. I mean, maybe I have created this data set, but I don't want to save it attached to that ROSject. Because it's a data set, this simulation, this environment is just for creating the data set. That's it. That's only for it. And then I want to use the data set in other projects. But it's okay. So what we can do is to come here to data set and press detach. By detaching this, okay, it was very quick. Okay, so I press detach. By detaching, this data set that we have generated is no longer available on this ROSject. But it is available in your set of data sets. Okay, so if we go here, for example, to the IDE again, not to all, yeah. So if we go to the datasets directory, you can see that it contains nothing. Now the data is gone. Why? Because we have detached the data set. So how can we get it back? So at any point in time that we open a ROSject, we go to datasets and say, instead of create, we say attach. So we say, hey, let's attach. And then it's going to tell you here a list of all the data sets that you have available, that you have created, even the size of it. So open the drop-down menu and select the LIVE-Class 41 data set. As you can see, it's here. And then indicate again the directory that you want to put it there. It could be a different directory. Okay, so it doesn't matter because the data set is just a data set. So my data set. That's it. And then you press attach. Okay. And yeah, I don't know why this opened here again. So I'm going to close it. I don't know why. But anyway, here in dataset, now we have our LIVE-Class 41 dataset with 1.28 megabytes has been attached into dataset workspace my dataset. And if you go to the cloud here and we refresh this here, so we have my dataset with all the data that I have generated previously and the README file that I have created. I'm testing the creation of datasets, etc. So what is good is that this dataset that we have created, by having created it, it is available to any of the ROSjects that you have here. So in any of your ROSjects, I have many here. So I can now open one of those and then attach that data set to it and use it in the ROSject and use it. Okay, so then let me see if it is something else. So this is for attaching. Yeah, and basically that's it. Let me check if there is any question before I continue. Okay, says Navlesh from India. Nice to meet you, Navlesh. I hope that all of you are following and are having, so it is working for you. Let me know if it's not the case or you have any question related to managing data sets. Okay, so let's continue. So what have we seen up to here is how to create a data set and how to save it and provide this to all your ROSjects, all the ROS projects that you have in your ROS Development Studio. And also, of course, you can download it to your local machines if you want. Okay, so it's going to take a while to download because if it is a big data set, then it's going to take a while. So we have seen how to attach, detach data sets and how to make them work. As another way of doing, so you can have several data sets attached. So now, in my case, I have created other data sets while testing our system. So now I have this data set attached. It is okay, but now I can attach other ones. So I can come here and attach this other data set that is, for example, uh, 42 megabytes. And I'm going to say about the testing of the folder to attach is going to be random app demo. So I'm going to provide this name and I'm going to attach it. So now it is being attached, as you can see here. So I will have two different data sets attached to my project, to my ROSject. So if I go here again to the IDE, let me simplify this a little bit. So I have my data set. Here is the one that we have created here today. So this is my data set. And then we have this random environment demo that contains many other things, as you can see, data sets. So that's the second one. So for a ROSject, you can attach as many data sets as you want, as you need. So it doesn't matter. That is very powerful in order to do deep learning and deep learning and training your neural networks. So if I go here and I refresh this page, then it should say that my ROSject contains two data sets, as you can see, because I have two data sets attached. So basically that's it. I wanted to show you about how to use the gene computers to generate the data sets in parallels, because today we have generated a data set with 20 images, but for the domain randomization live class, we use it 120,000 images, which took 40 hours to be generated. So, and it took 4.1 gigabytes of data. You can get that data set on this Git here. Okay, if you visit this Git that I have provided on the notebook, you will get all this data in case that you want to analyze or use it. It's up to you. Okay, so you got it there. But if we use gene computers, we can reduce the amount of time to just a minute. It depends on how many simulations you launch in parallel. And for that, we need to use the gene computers here. This is a feature for paying users, okay? So we are providing a lot for free users, but you can use the data sets, no problem. But for the parallelization, it needs to be working. But still, for the data set, some things we need to put it more robust. So that is why today we are not going to see that. And basically, that's the class here today. And so let me recommend you that if you want to learn more about domain randomization and deep learning and how we have created all these data sets, all this code, the simulation, we have a program here, an online course that is called Robotic Deep Learning with Domain Randomization. So this is a course that we have created in our academy. It's an online academy that is called the Robot Ignite Academy. And in this course, we provide everything, all the details, how to use Keras, how to train the neural network, how to create the data sets, and how the program works in the inside. And also, you are going to get a garbage collector project where you have to apply all that you have learned. So I recommend you that you have a look at it and check if it is interesting for you. As well, we have other courses, so just have a look at it. And that's it for today. So let me see if you have any questions and if I can help you in anything. So let's open a series of questions right now. And here I am again on the screen. Let's see if there are any questions. Here, the first question arrives. It says, is from RJ. It says, is there a course about some DKN techniques like DKN or fixed Q values? Yeah, we have a course on OpenAI baselines. And if I remember properly, there is a deep Q learning with neural networks there. You can check on the link that I have provided. Actually, we have it here on this link, you can check and you can see that there is an OpenAI course with ROS. Yes, so let me share the screen with you. So here on this course here is the OpenAI with ROS, and if I remember properly, we were teaching about DKN. We use different robots to train them, and okay, so okay, it's not provided here. Let me see. Deep Q learning, yeah. So it's here from baselines of OpenAI, exactly. So it is included there, and it's also later used in other in Fetch or other cases. For example, in the case of actually on the case of the domain randomization, we are using DQN. Yeah. Okay. So what else? Let's see other questions. Let's see other questions. Okay, too many windows here. Any other questions there? So far so good. Has it worked for you? Is it the procedure working? Remember to save your project, okay? Remember that we have created this project and that we have created the database, the data set, sorry. So there is an icon. If you want to save that ROSject, including the data set, you can press the icon on the top of on this side. It will be around here. And here there is a question from Ahmed, but it's in another language that I don't understand. I'm sorry, Ahmed. Please use English and I'll be happy. And RJ, so he has got the answer. Let's see, any other question? For example, if you share this ROSject with the data set, whoever who received the ROSject will get also the data set. If you detach the data set prior to sharing the ROSject, then the person will not receive the data set. So it will be only for you. So you can play with that because maybe you want the people to create the data set by themselves because you want them to learn or you want them to test if they are able something. Then, okay, it says, Ajarapon, it says that he has just opened the Jupyter Notebook and he will do later. Okay, yes, homework for you, Ajarapon. So you have to do it and put your comments and questions below the video. And I see that there are no more questions. So I think that is a good time that we finish here today. Let me tell you that it has been a pleasure to do all those live classes along this year. It has been a year, actually more than a year and 1 month that since we started with the live classes. And it's been very, very enriching from my side. I have seen many of you coming for many of the classes, some people coming, some other going. And I'm very, very happy to do it. We are going to keep doing this during the 2019, and I hope to see you all on the channel and bring more people, bring more friends, bring more students. We want to reach thousands of people at the same time doing the same exercises. That would be super great, don't you think so? So imagine that we have people from United States, from Canada, from Peru, from Argentina, from South Africa, from Bolivia, from China, from Japan, from Australia, from Indonesia, from many places of Europe. So that would be super great that we can do this and share this experience together with thousands of people at the same time. So for that, we need you to help us on doing this. And of course, on our case, we are going to keep producing more live classes and improving the quality in many aspects of that. So remember that we are going to stop doing live classes here today until January. And you can check the calendar of the live classes. Let me put the calendar on the chat so you can see also what is the next calendar. There also you can vote for other subjects if you want. And of course, the main subject in January is going to be ROS 2, because ROS 2 is becoming the standard in ROS now. So many people is moving towards that. So we are going to create a series of classes in January about ROS 2, and so you are going to be able to learn about that. And check the calendar there. I have posted the link. And that's all. Here it says Linda Capito. Hello, Linda. Thank you so much, Ricardo. I started attending your online classes and got hooked. Great job. Thank you very much, Linda. Have a nice Christmas. Merry Christmas. And here we have also Arapon. He says, I really love your live classes. Great job. Thank you very much, Arapon. Well, so that's it. No more messages, no more things. Let's finish here. And I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas to all of you who are celebrating that. For all the rest, happy holidays, and see you on the next year. Bye, guys.